I don't follow sports in any way. I am not familiar with tennis. I'm not really familiar with any sports. Hi friends, and welcome back. Today we are getting into a review of a book that I have been very excited to read. So today we are going to do a review of Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, if you are here, I'm sure you know that people have really been anticipating this book, and for good reason. Taylor Jenkins Reid has come out with a lot of books that have become very popular over the past couple of years, such as Daisy Jones and the Six, Malibu Rising, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. People love her writing style and her books. And something really fun about her books is that her characters have a small connection to characters in other books. So we actually already heard about Carrie Soto in Malibu Rising. It was just a very small snippet, but it kind of created some excitement for this book. So in Malibu Rising, we hear about Carrie Soto, and not really for good reason. All that we know about her is that she is the reason that Nina Riva's husband leaves her, and all that we really know about Carrie is that she seems kind of unstable in her relationships, and she's extremely competitive. So let's get to know Carrie Soto in her book. Carrie is a 37-year-old retired tennis legend. She is the Grand Slam record holder and pretty much the best tennis player of her time, until Nikki Chan comes along and threatens to take and replace all of her records. So Taylor Jenkins Reid writes Carrie in such a way that although she is really hard to love, you find yourself rooting for her, and you come to understand what makes her so abrasive and unlovable and competitive and snarky. We follow Carrie on her journey out of retirement. She's going to train with her father and try and beat Nikki and reclaim those titles that mean so much to her. So, like I said, she's training with her father and also has to train with an ex-boyfriend who she doesn't really want to train with, but it's her only option. No one else really wants to help her because she's not very nice. Like I've said, Carrie is not really a likable athlete, but I think that that might be what I love about her. So in the book, she's actually referred to as the Battle Axe and some other not very nice names. But she has this ability to go for the things that she wants and not put people pleasing first, and I found it really inspiring. So let's get into the writing style a bit. I have shared this in another video, but the first book that I read from Taylor Jenkins Reid was Malibu Rising, and I'll be honest, I just didn't love it. There was something about the writing style that just didn't work for me. I felt like I never really got attached to the characters, and it just wasn't for me. But then I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I loved it. Who couldn't love it, honestly? It was everything that Malibu Rising wasn't. So I felt like the characters were really well developed. I wanted to know what was happening. It was a really well-rounded book. So far I have only read 2 of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books and only liked one of them. So I didn't have high hopes going into this book. I was a little bit worried and skeptical that I wasn't going to like it. But of course I gave it a try. And so I actually listened to this on Audible, and it was a lot better than I was expecting. The actual reading of this book was really well done, and it kind of made it feel like you were listening to a show rather than reading a book. I found myself wanting to continue it every opportunity I could, and that is always a really good sign for me. There was something else that was really fun in this reading, and since it was about sports and about tennis matches, there were certain sections of the book that were presented as a sports broadcaster. I think that's what they're called, but it made it really feel like you were more immersed in the story, and it wasn't just a boring recap of a match. I really loved the way that it was read in the audiobook. Carrie Soto was as captivating as The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I love a book that has complex characters and an immersive story, and this one might be my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book so far. The reason that I loved this book so much is because it sounds like it's just going to be a book about a tennis star, but it is so much more than that. Carrie has her own life experiences and trauma that she is dealing with. And there is so much personal growth in this book and so many good lessons that can be taken from this book. Taylor Jenkins Reid pulls the reader right into the mind of Carrie and right into the intense and thrilling world of professional tennis. Now, we do deal with some misogyny and unequal opportunities, but we have that strong fighter character who fights for herself and for what she wants unapologetically. I did see a review on this book from Goodreads that honestly wasn't very good, and the reviewer pretty much said that this was like a sports memoir, and I kind of understand what they are saying. Yes, it is about sports, but I just wanted to share that this book is so much more than that. If you are worried that you won't like this book because you're not into sports, do not worry. I don't follow sports in any way. I am not familiar with tennis. I'm not really familiar with any sports, and I still really enjoyed this book. So don't let that deter you from reading this book. So let's get into the final review of this book. This book was a full 5-star book for me. When I give something 5 stars, it has to be something that I loved the writing styles. It had well-developed characters, had a well-rounded message, and most importantly, in a 5-star review, I want it to be something that makes me feel intense emotions. Now, in this book, I cheered for Carrie, I cried for Carrie, and just found myself rooting for her and wanting her to achieve what she was setting out to do. Now, I will share that this book had a different ending than what I was hoping would happen, but it was still such a well-rounded book, and the ending was different than what I expected, but better than I was expecting. So great job to Taylor Jenkins Reid for that. I really loved everything about this book. This book was beautiful and well-rounded, and honestly, I feel like it might be one of the best messages that I have read in a really long time. If you are looking for a book that has a strong female character who overcomes major challenges and has incredible self-development and is as captivating as The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, give this book a try. I think that this book is going to be really well loved, and for good reason. I can't wait to hear what you all think. Please let me know your thoughts down below if you've read this book. Again, thanks so much for watching. Of course, I have my usual links down below. I have a link for Book of the Month Club where you can sign up for a discounted price if you are interested. You all know how much I love Book of the Month Club. And also I have a link down below to Goodreads. Not all of my reviews make it onto the channel, so if you connect with me on Goodreads, you can see my most up-to-date reviews, see what I'm currently reading, and see some extra reviews for books that I read that haven't made it on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!